production.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Top of the morning, man. What's going on, my G's?
What's going on? Top of the morning.
Yes, I just sneezed backstage during the intro, and I was just trying to make sure I had no boogers on me. Oh, we're on.
We on, man.
Top of the morning, y'all.
We in the motherfucking building, baby. Man. Another episode of the motherfucking.
Juice in the blunt for breakfast while I'm eating pipe. Finna hit the block, about to see some pipe.
And it's a very special episode of the OJ and a Blunt for Breakfast. It is the 1 year anniversary show.
Come on now.
Let's go. We did this thing.
100%. Let them know.
I was actually late for this show a year ago. You remember that? I think I showed up for like the last 10 minutes. I was drinking all night in the studio. I woke up, oh shit, I got something to do. That was when we were doing it like at 6:30. Remember that shit?
100%.
We started like at 6:30 in the morning.
You hear it though, man. Let the motherfuckers know where they can find y'all at, man.
Yeah, you can find me at YouTube from a Thin's Perspective and Boogie Vision on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on now.
What you got, 5 on the IG, man. He's a great follow, man. Definitely tap in from a fan's perspective on YouTube, man. Check out the guy. And if you want to come through and peep some game from what we got going on over here, it's the Gen Wealth Net on YouTube, Gen Wealth Net _ on the gram. Let's go.
Let's get it, man. 100%. We got a meal in the building, top of the morning in meal.
Yes, Prime Minister Emil.
Come on now. Oh, my mama, Prime Minister Emil in the motherfucking building, and 100%. We got Gang Green in the building, top of the morning. Get up.
The cat man.
Yes, sir. Oh, my mama, before we get into the first motherfucking topic, we gonna play a message from our sponsor, none other than NeonPeacockMerch.com. 100%. You know, this show is powered by the Neon Peacock fella himself, 100%, man. All right, know what time it is, man. NeonPeacockMerch.com. Slide over there, enter your email, get locked in, slide through the website. I'm telling you, you're gonna find something you definitely like, bro. 100%.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the guy, Neon Peacock.
Let's get it. We got Alan in the building who's watching WrestleMania today. Talk about it.
Oh, that's right. It's WrestleMania. Hey, you know what's funny? I'll probably stream East it at one point just to peep it if I ain't got nothing to do.
Facts.
You know what's funny? I'll still lightweight get excited about some pro wrestling shit. Then I'll turn it on and remember I ain't fucked with this shit in 30 years.
Facts. 100%.
I'm like, this shit is hoot. I'm like, oh, they ain't even bleeding no more. They be like jamming each other with the chair now. They can't like legally over the top to the dome no more. You know what I mean?
Come on now.
Probably a good thing, but gratuitous violence definitely kept my intrigue back in the day.
Facts. Yeah, when I was watching that shit, man, I thought it was the illest shit ever. Oh my mom.
Wow, you know what's crazy? We're from the hood, and I guarantee you, like me, we was all cheering on that redneck Stone Cold. You know what I mean? You ever think about that? You're like, You know what I mean? I don't think I'd ever really like necessarily mesh with a redneck, but man, that's stone cold on the other hand.
Stone cold. Wait.
Stop a mud hole in your ass.
Oh, now there's blood, just not as much. Alan said, man. Shout out to Alan, man. Good looking for pulling.
Shout out to Alan. Back in the days, they call that color in wrestling terms. Like Ric Flair. And back in the days, you saw Ric Flair on television, you're going to get some color because he's going to give the people what they want. You know what I mean?
Woo!
Woo!
Shout out to Alan. Shout out to Kitty. Shout out to Emil. 100%, man. On my mama. Shout out to everybody else that's in this motherfucker, man. Oh, let's get into this first.
Yep. Top 100%. Of the board and happy weekend, y'all.
Come on now.
Talk about being lucky. A man apparently living on the streets of California recently won a $1 million jackpot. Talk about being lucky. A man apparently living on the streets of California recently won a $1 million jackpot on a lottery scratcher. Carson Wells has his story.
That's the tickets right there.
Wilson Simon has worked at Sandy's Liquor since 2013 and tells me that this is the first time someone has ever won a prize of this size. He says the winner is a longtime customer who is also homeless.
He came to the store, he scratched, I was like, oh my God, is that real? Wilson, can you come and take a look? I'm like, let me see. So I grabbed the ticket out of his hand. I went to the machine over there. He's like, I'm not homeless anymore. I'm like, man, you hit the jackpot. He's like 100,000. I'm like, no, bro, that's $1 million. That's $1 million ticket. Congrats, brother. Yeah, so we give each other a high five.
What goes through your mind when someone who shops here so often wins a ticket like this?
A lot. It's
the
like
store gets a cut.
A lot of happiness for the person, especially like a person or a loyal, regular customer daily. I wish him all the best.
Simon did more than just.
He knows he ain't gonna see Brett no more.
I drove him to Fresno, I think the next day or Wednesday. So because he's like, he want to send it in the mail. That's $1 million ticket. No, I will drive you there.
I spoke with a spokesperson from the California Lottery who told me what has to be done before the money is awarded.
With $1 million winner like this, what the person who comes forward can expect is a very thorough vetting process. As you can imagine, we give away a lot of prize money at the California Lottery, and we're happy to do it, but we want to make sure we're giving it to the right person.
She says this vetting process can take anywhere from a few weeks to a couple months and involves an interview with the winner, checking to see if the person owes the state any money, and a few other factors.
We process in California over 10,000 winning claims a month. So that's part of why
they got to make sure they don't owe franchise tax board.
While I was at Sandy's, the winner came in to buy a few more tickets. He declined an on-camera interview, but tells me that this is a life-changing amount of money and that he intends to make a down payment on a home here on the Central Coast, get a car, and then invest and save the rest.
Nowhere in there he said about getting a job, though. He was like, my house, a car, and then I'm going to spend the rest on ticket scratchers. Hey, good for the guy, man. And
to hold $1 million, you got to live kind of modest, though.
Yeah, that is true.
Because I mean, on a high yield savings account, that's about $50,000 a year. You know what I mean?
That's not bad, but you can't do anything though, right?
Nah, what you do is that you would have to start. You have to open up your investment accounts and try to get into some good investments. So that million could be making money. So you won't have the whole million sitting in the bank account. You will have a portion of it sitting in investment accounts. So at the end of the year, you can grab some more paper off that million. So it won't be 50,000 if you know how to invest. You probably make like 100 off that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Getting some mutual funds and shit like that. Put it in all kind of different shit. See, this is where he would need an advisor. And here's why I like the liquor store guy, because that guy was mad cool. He goes, oh, what does this mean? Oh, 100,000. Yeah. The guy could have been like, yeah, you know what? I'll cash you in right now. You know what I mean? I'll give you 100. He could have like really bamboozled the guy. Good thing he knows the guy, and that guy was in good hands. Like, listen, bro, I'm gonna drive you there. You know what I mean? Don't tell no one you got this ticket. Don't tell none of them other hobos outside, because they'll get your ass.
That's facts. We got Carl in the building. What's up, Carl?
What's up, Carl? Long time.
Oh, my mama. Carl says, so what's the proper move? Do you go to the bank, open an account, put some on a trust fund and try to invest, or do you just try to start a business, buy a home? Oh, my mama. But the cold thing is, right, bruh's in that position. You know what I mean? From going from living on the street and probably, you know what I mean, hustling for some change or doing little odd jobs, you know what I mean, to get $20, $30 a day. I don't know what it is, but you know what I mean, for bruh to be living on the streets and to go ahead and, I don't know, $20 ticket, $5 ticket, $1 ticket, I don't know, to go ahead
I'm gonna tell you right now, right? You got about $100,000 max to spend out that $1 million, so you can still get some good interest or investment profit off of it at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, and if he's thinking about buying a property, he could buy one. If he's
I wouldn't buy no property right now.
Yeah, me neither. And not if I'm him, because first of all, if he had, unless you could tell me this homeless man has phenomenal credit, right? And can get a loan, because then he could go and drops a little down on a house and he'll be all right. But yeah, he's kind of going from rags to riches, so to speak. But
yeah,
it's not really riches like that if you think about it. And how much is the tax going to take in Cali? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Because if that's taxable, so they take like 40%. So he probably only walking away with about 600,000.
And I just thought about it too. The liquor store, whenever a liquor store is the location that hits some kind of big cash prize, they do get something from the lottery company. So that guy probably was hella happy as fuck to drive, and there's like, I gotta make sure you get there, bro. You know what I mean?
Because he said that he wanted to put it in. He said he wanted to put it in the mail. He was like,
that's crazy.
That's why we gonna go drive. You know what I mean? 100%. My thing is know that his situation changed. You know what I mean? No matter what bruh do with the money, if he want to be back on the streets or if he want to change his situation and try and back better his life, you know what I mean, that he got the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? 100%.
So look, right, what he would have to do, right, 600,000 after taxes. That's what we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
So what he would have to do, get an apartment, get a car, you know what I mean? And you might want to get you a little jobby job, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta invest that money properly so that money can kick profit at the end of the year. So you wanna go to like a financial advisor or something like that and have them set you up some investment accounts, and that money can grow over time, you know what I mean? But you're gonna have to grow that money. You know what I mean?
Not touch it. And that's why the job comes in, or that's why
the job comes in. You're gonna have to keep something around.
He should be used to that part. He should be used to not having the money part, right?
You know what I mean?
I don't have it.
Yeah, right. you gotta have a little job to keep the bills paid and invest that money right until that money starts kicking back. You know what I mean? That's 100%. The only way. You would have to grow that money up to a million plus. You can do it because come in a game. Let's say you spend about 50. You wouldn't even spend. You get an apartment, a car for like $5,000. Nothing too crazy. You know what I mean? You furnish it. You probably spend maybe like 10,000 for the whole get up. You know what I'm saying? Apartment, car, some clothes. You know what I mean? Groceries. You know what I'm saying? But you want to put at least about 500,000 in investments, and maybe the other 50 you could put for an emergency fund, or maybe the other 90 you could put for an emergency fund. You know what I mean? But that other 500,000, you want to put that in investments and grow that 500,000, because that's a nice sizable chunk of money to invest to make some good profit at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? You got to grow that money and just, work your little job and grow those investments so you could turn that 500,000 into like $1 million, 1.5. You know what I'm saying? It's more feasible to get to 1.5 when you jumping in the game with 500,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to do that. But if you think you're gonna just, oh, I got $1 million and think you're just gonna blow money, you'll be broke tomorrow.
Come on now.
Yeah, he's able to buy a house. If he's in Cali, maybe it's central. They said they're not far from Fresno, so maybe if it's central Cali, we're talking about a $250,000 to $300,000 for a single family home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, do not buy no home, bro. Because you ain't got no live income right now.
And then he might have to.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. How's he gonna pay the property tax? You know what I mean?
Everything.
Yeah,
and
that's gonna bring a whole bunch of expenses, bro. Like, just keep that shit regular.
What I think he's gonna do though is what he told us. He's gonna buy the house, the car, then he's gonna go back on his career of panhandling. He's just gonna have a place to go to at night. You know what I mean?
Nah, see, yeah, you hustling backwards, bro.
He's gonna be out there. You know what I mean? Hey, we can't knock his process and netted him $1 million.
Come on,
yeah,
now.
but like I said, 600,000.
I'm being sarcastic.
Look, 600,000. Boom, you drop that. A house can clear out half that money, bro. If you're not smart,
that house will clear that money out in 3 years.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like, fuck a house, get an apartment. Not even nothing too crazy. A little cool 1-bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Quiet part of town. You know what I'm saying? Get you a little Honda Accord. You know what I mean? You know, you probably get something a little bit better than that. Not too flossy. And then
you know what, bro?
You know,
he could do exactly
get you a
what
job
he's doing right now.
Invest right.
Get him a nice big box, one of those giant boxes, right? You know what I'm saying? Boom, he got some couple shopping carts that's on 6s. You know what I mean? And he just chilling, bro. He could just lamp for like a year doing the same thing he was doing. And it's a good thing he didn't want to show his face neither on the thing. You know what I mean? Like, he could still be just
that's important. Not showing your face, because I remember for a while they was kidnapping lottery winners in Detroit, like on some back-to-back shit.
The bride that worked for the lottery said it could take up to some weeks or some months for bruh to get his money. So if the other homelesses know that bruh is a walking lick right now, oh my mama, you know what I mean? And hopefully bruh don't got no habit, you know, the way that mom like to relax, because if
you got a habit, it's over.
It's all going up into his arm or up his nose or in the pipe.
You got a habit, it's over.
Look, that's what Carl said too. First, Emil said $1 million ain't that much in today's economy, and then Carl said, or do you go the Tyrone Biggums route and throw $1 million epic crack party?
Right.
Oh, mama, cold world.
5 o'clock.
Kidda said
5 o'clock p.m.
Kidda said, I'm renting something like a $24K a year and buying a 25K car and just living like a regular dude. I definitely ain't buying a home. Oh my God.
Facts. That's the plan. Like, you know,
man,
you gotta
might even live in the car, buy a used car.
Nah, I ain't living.
No, I'm just saying, like, in today's day and age, the homeless.
See,
like,
you can
level of homelessness
too, though. So bruh he can go get the fucking ADU. So wherever he at, he could just go find somewhere where they at ADU, and that motherfucker only $1,000. It's a fucking studio. You know, it got the shitter, the shower,
might even be cheaper.
Kitchen, you know what I mean? That motherfucker $1,500, $1,000, bro. Oh, man,
he can live on the streets while he's on the waiting list. You know what I mean?
You know what? Get you a fat ass nice RV. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Get you a nice RV. You know, if you like to live on the road.
Oh, my mom, that's what the homeless is in, but they not nice. They beat up than a motherfucker.
Oh, no, you get the nice joint.
They not like Breaking Bad. Oh, my mama, that's for shit.
You get the nice RV, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my mama.
That's if anything, because that's an apartment and a whip all in one.
Facts. But all this money gonna go to that gas out here in the state of California. That shit is $5 right now. That motherfucker probably take 100 gallons.
And this is why I'm saying he can get him a couple nice shopping carts. He could fix a box onto it.
I would still have a hoopty. You know what I'm saying? I would still have a hoopty with the RV though. You know what I'm saying? Because the RV gonna be more stationary than anything. You know what I mean?
The first thing I think of a homeless person with hella money is like, there's a reason why that person's homeless, right? I would hope it's not because of that person, but I would assume 9 times out of 10, it's the decisions they made in life. So you give $1 million to that type of person and take away like 40% from tax, You know what I mean? But what are you going to go to your homeless person that used to be a financial advisor? Listen, bro, this is what I would do. Like, listen, I don't listen to that guy. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to need some real guidance here or that money's going up.
Kid, I got a damn good idea for bruh. Move to the Philippines. Your money going to stretch longer.
Yeah, you got to be familiar with the Philippines.
Hey, look, he might even buy one of them little islands that no one lives on.
Bruh, this chalupa gonna stretch.
Yeah, you ain't lying, right? He's like, fuck it, I'll live off of Jollibees.
Come on, man. Carl said, knowing Tyrone, he'll probably lose his ID, have to sneak back, but not get in because the Border Patrol would tell him he's a dark-skinned Brazilian. He said, because Tyrone Biggums will hitchhike to Sinaloa, make a deal for some powder, then flip it, but then he'll probably lose it trying to sneak back across the border because he forgot his ID. Shout out to Tyrone Biggums, man.
Tyrone Biggums get $1 million. He don't even get no ID.
That Red Boss skit is like the hilarious shit ever, bro.
Joe Rogan, I gotta tell you something. I smoke rocks.
Oh, everything. It smells like what do he say? It smells like Fritos when he was walking across the hot rock. Oh,
like chitlins.
Come on,
someone give me some hot sauce.
Oh my mama. Facts right now, Bo. I do some traveling 100%. I love to travel, bro. Get the fuck up out of here. The move is to look.
First thing you gotta do is get an ID in a bank and a bank card or a bank account. You know what I'm saying?
Carl got a good idea for him. The move is to look for a group of real estate investors and join them. Put $200K towards a $2 million property and become co-owner and landlord and live in the building in the shittiest apartment.
For sure. For sure. I mean, it just at the end of the day, you know, you with $1 million, you got to find a good investment or good investments. Fuck all that trying to floss and all that. You got to find good investments to keep that $1 million around or to turn that $1 million. You got to grow that money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Me and my lady, after renting for 12 years before we, actually, it was almost 15 years of renting before we bought our first property. I remember I got really upset one day. I started doing some math, just carry the 3, right? Doing the math, and I'm like, oh shit, we spent almost $250,000 in rent. And I remember being so upset about that. Like, damn, like this money I have never seen all at once, and that money I'll never see again. Because it was like, you know what I mean?
Somebody said like, I seen somebody on Instagram said that they was trying to promote something. It was one of them reality TV stars, and they were saying how, you know, you pay more in rent. Some people pay more in rent than they do. People pay more in rent than they do a mortgage, and I said that's cap, because at the end of the day, a house, you got more expenses than just rent, than just your rent and your
property. You have property tax. You have homeowners insurance. You have all, you know, obviously utilities. Like this shit
repairs, maintenance.
You know? Yep. If something breaks, you own it. You gotta fix it. You know what I mean? I moved here. I didn't went to war with mice already. You know what I mean? See, these mice didn't know that I have a long history of going to war with these son bitches. You know what I mean?
Come on now. Exactly. We got Ghost Monkey in the building. Top of the morning, big bro.
Ghost Monkey.
He said, is the 5 o'clock crack giveaway? Oh, everything. I hope bro don't got no habit. Oh my mama.
Yeah, real talk.
Real talk.
Yeah, because he gotta make it to that money still.
Look,
he still gotta make it there.
Yo, it's crazy, right? You can buy one car and blow a whole $1 million.
Real talk.
That's crazy.
I mean, shit, you buy when you start getting them cars that are 6 figures and up, man. When you go get an oil change, you're spending 5 figures. You know what I mean?
Man, some people say like, oh, you know, I would never buy a car that's $1 million, $2 million. I said, shit, I can't say never, because if I had like $100, $200 million, I'd buy a car that's $1 million.
Yeah, and we probably won't even take half them some bitches out.
I know I would. I'd be driving them shits. Yo, like Mr. Bean.
You'll see Slim twice a day, huh?
Yo, Mr. Bean bought a McLaren. Yo, they say he drove that McLaren every day. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mr. Bean or Mr. Bean, the English dude, the British dude?
Yeah, Mr. Bean, the funny guy from
Oh,
back then.
that's hard, man.
Yo, he drove.
Hey,
Yo, they said he
don't
had
get
the
in the car
highest
with Mr.
mileage
Bean. I'll tell
McLaren.
you that
Like,
much.
yo, and he crashed it and got it
See,
fixed. Like,
I rest my case.
Come on now.
hey, but yeah, like, you know, hey, you about, you know, I can't say never. I just say you just got to be in the right financial space to make those type of purchases. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
exactly.
What do you always say, Slim? You always say buy things you can afford. I'm paraphrasing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, because you can buy something, but can you afford it?
There it is.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you buy a
There it
car,
is.
can you afford the maintenance? You know, the insurance.
You know how long it would have taken? It would have took that guy to panhandle for a house.
Well, no, some of them panhandlers be getting guap. They got
Yeah.
stories of them dudes running it up, and they get jumping in Benzes and sliding off.
I mean, I know someone who came up like that
I mean,
on Instagram, secondhand hustle. They actually moved out to Austin and opened up a big ass store and shit, man.
Yeah, no,
He was like the hood Goodwill. You know
like I said, I gotta be to work, you know what I mean, before the sun come up. So sometimes if I ain't got no coffee, I slide to the little gas station right there on the corner, right? And you know, some of the rellies is out there living on the streets. And one day, this is a long time ago, one of the young rellies living on the street, bro. We going in at the same time. It's a dude coming out, bruh, sliding him a Benji off the rip, 100%. You know what I mean? That's just one time that I've seen. There's probably many other times, you know what I mean, of other motherfuckers. Like, you know, you never know, you know what I mean? You get that motherfucker. I see wifey do it all the time. Slide motherfucker a dub. Don't let it be no kids out with the person, you know what I mean? And that's a hustle. When they got
that shit is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, because I just did that the other day at the gas station. There was a nice black lady. She had her kids. She was like, "Can you help me with some gas?" And she was like, I had seen her there when I pulled up, and I waited in the longest. I was probably there for like 15 minutes. When I was leaving, I was like, I only had a $5. That's my change. I was like, here, you know what I mean? If I had more, I probably would have gave her more, because I'm like, I see her pleading her same case. You know, there's some people where you know they're a cat. You know what I mean? She was just, you know, she was just shooting the story. I gotta get home and woo, my car, this and that. And I was like, you know what, here, that's all I got. You know what I mean? But that's exactly what she needed. She's like, cool. Because she was just saying she needed to go like 15 miles or whatever. Like, I was just ear hustling her story when I was filling up the tank. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? And then most people, they're just dickheads. See, me, when it's, I ain't gonna lie, when it's a homeless person that asks me for some change or something, bro, I don't even have change or cash 90% of the time, so I just walk off. You know what I mean? And even if I did, I'd be like, I'm gonna put it right here on the ground. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if they
there.
making. I don't know if they making money now these days like how they was back then, because people ain't carrying cash like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People paying
Got
with
the
their
cash
phone
app.
and.
Hey, a homeless person say, I got cash app. I'm like, bro, you got cash then.
Oh, see, now if you got cash app, but then, you know, who's gonna sit there going through the trouble? I mean, some people will, but most people, they just want to do something real quick and
He's
keep
like, hey,
moving.
bro, I got my QR code right here.
I was just finna say they got
stay in the QR.
World. What y'all got going out on this, bruh?
I mean,
man. Shout out to bruh, man. Hopefully we hear another story, a part 2 of this, and he's doing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if he play his cards right, you know what I mean, he could be rich forever. You know what I'm saying? If he play his cards right. So
in the Rick Ross voice, rich forever.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
He's like,
he gotta know how to play it. Look, he gotta know how to play. He just need 2 things, you know what I'm saying, with that bread. He need a little starter kit and he needs some investments, and he'll be all right.
And that's what Carl said. Emil said, I'd rather sleep in a Rolls Royce. Yeah, I gotta go get a Rolls for sure if I got some money. Oh, but my cousin got a Rolls Royce. He got a 13 Ghost. It's hooks in them Kev uncle. Oh, everything.
Okay.
He riding around in a Ghost, bro. But Carl said with the RV, though, he had to get a special license, and that might not be too easy. Renovated vans to live in are $35K to $150K. You have a bed, a place to cook, watch TV, and a laptop, and use it to Uber. I've seen motherfuckers on YouTube as well that live in their vans, and all they do is just travel 100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it just all depends. Like, you know, it all depends.
100%.
Like I said, he just need a starter kit and some investments, and he'll be all right.
He's gonna spend $10,000 on 40-ounce bottles right out the gate, right? He's gonna call all the homies.
I'll give me 1 second, Brody.
You good, bro? On my mama. And that thing, and see, like what you said with that is that bruh's the store owner is like, bruh is a regular customer every day, and it's a liquor store because you can see all the bottles. You know what I mean? So, like I said, oh, bruh don't got no habit. On my mama. We got the Crooked Commission in the building. Top of the morning, big bro.
Crooked Commission, what's happening?
You know, you got it, bruh. JD, Bogey, and Slim. Good to see you up. You're up and rolling. Come on now.
Wow.
On top, big bro. You already know, man. This is the countdown to the draft, man. We starting, what was it? Wednesday, I think. From Wednesday all the way till next week, man. We're gonna be fucking live every fucking day, man. 100%.
Yeah, we got we're gonna have a little makeshift 420 session type stream tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because when are we not keeping it lit, right? But at the same time too, you know what I mean? Tomorrow, we'll maybe do like just open up to like a Q&A. You know what I mean? Those are always fun. Motherfuckers is we're teetering between dynasty and redraft season. You know what I mean?
100%. My mama. Carl said, how about just getting in contact with streaming and TV stations and getting a reality show or negotiating a deal for the rights of your story? Someone would jump on that. Yeah, if bruh can really turn something into nothing.
Someone calls
nothing into something 100%. Because he damn, like Slim said, he damn got a good start, a head start. Oh my mama.
Nothing from nothing to something. You gotta have something if you want to be with me. He was telling the bitch, huh?
Come on now.
Like, listen, you gotta have some paper if you want to be with me, baby.
Let's get into this next one, bruh.
California cannabis businesses are struggling to stay open. High taxes and stiff competition with the illegal market have led to the industry leaders now calling on the state to make changes.
KCRA 3's Ryan Curry spoke with the owners of several storefronts who say if nothing happens, many could go out of business.
A pungent smell and a white cloud of smoke synonymous with a culture of people passionate about something that used to be a heavily restricted drug.
I feel like cannabis is like a healing plant. God gave us this plant.
This week in San Francisco is Spacewalk, a restaurant week-like event, but for cannabis. Throughout the week, different dispensaries are holding events trying to get people to support their business.
I set a challenge to myself to be able to program 7 of the best growers in the state into 7 of the nicest lounges for 7 nights, and it really just took off.
However, this week comes at a difficult time for the industry. The excise tax on cannabis is set to jump to 19% on July 1st.
Many businesses say they will have to close in the coming years if California doesn't lower their taxes. A lot of them say they're having a hard time keeping up with the illegal market.
Taxes on legal cannabis make the legal market more expensive than the illicit market.
Eli Melrod is the CEO of Soulful Cannabis, which has multiple locations in Northern California.
We're the only dispensary in California that sources 100% sun-grown Emerald Triangle cannabis.
A lot of work for a business becoming more difficult to operate.
Outdoor. No one wants that outdoor shit like that. That's why.
50% of cannabis consumed is illegal. Taxes are one problem. Where they can sell is another. More than half of the counties don't allow any cannabis businesses. And for the ones that do, like Contra Costa, for example, majority of the cities still ban them.
The tax on a joint is going to be 10, 20, 50 times higher. The business taxes at a local level might be 100 or 500 times higher than a gun shop.
According to the San Francisco Chronicle, Michigan sells more legal cannabis than California.
If the state does nothing, and the taxes go up come July, what would that do to the cannabis business?
I can say without a doubt it will raise the price of legal cannabis,
which he and others say could drive more people to the illicit market and force legal stores to close. In San Francisco, Ryan Curry, KCRA 3 News.
Some lawmakers have tried.
They can't take down the weed man entirely, man. See, but that's the thing too. It's like even for someone like me in my regular day-to-day job, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen a number of dispensaries, they change owners because they're not doing the same numbers, then someone come in and buy them out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it says a lot though, because it's like look at, they said down the road, you can see a lot of these dispensaries close, right? But it's because most of these motherfuckers that are selling right now, they see this coming. You know what I mean?
I think when you go when people go legit on that level, they have to survive the going legit process. Like,
the
you know,
legality
the legalizations, they have to have enough money to survive that. Because if you don't, you'll get drowned. You'll get took out the game quick.
Yeah, it happens all the time. That's why in the market that I work with, we still work in a freelance market, because a lot of these dispensaries, they're connected to their own they have their own cultivation shit going on. You know what I mean? So they'll have in-house stuff. What we do specializes, we sell white label stuff. So that means like you could have let's just say cookies. You can have cookies. We're gonna move. We're cultivating cookies. We're gonna move it to this dispensary, that dispensary. They're gonna sell it as their own in-house cookies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing though, is because we'd rather be the cultivation's never gonna die. The dispensaries are the ones that are taking the hit right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
But it still is a symbiotic relationship, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like you still gotta appreciate the dispensaries when you're a freelance cultivator, because man, they're the ones that's buying your product. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, when motherfuckers is going out of business, I'm telling you from firsthand experience, I've seen it. People come in and buy up that dispensary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come over and take over your block.
Yeah.
You ain't got no good work. You can't afford to be on the block. Yeah, we got the money. 100%.
And you know who always has the money? Them peoples too. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that sucks, because then now it's like, I mean, look at Kev. We saw Kev go from the grassroots and work all the way up through the legal system so they can run their business. You know what I mean? And like, it's not a colored business on that other side, so to speak. You know what I mean?
And that's why they got, and he had to go through a program to try and get like just to be able to get a piece of the pie. And it wasn't no 100% he was going to get a piece of the pie because of all them others that own all the businesses. It's 90% of them that own all the businesses here in Sacramento, probably, you know what I mean? And just probably maybe 20% is minorities, and it might not even be that. I don't know. We had to ask Kev on my mama. And so that's another thing that's so fucked up about it is that it's, not only is it hard for you to get in, but it's hard for you to stay afloat. And that's basically, they really don't want you in the game 100%, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
No, go ahead.
No, good.
I was watching an interview with this lady, this Asian lady, and she said she didn't realize how much money that she had to have. She said $1 million is like bare minimum. You have to have deep pockets to like really sustain through the whole the legalization thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you're competing against the growers on the street, and you're competing against the growers on the street, and
the D-boys,
and then you're competing against the legal people that also have their situation going. So you're getting hit from both sides, you know what I mean? And then, you know, the oversaturation, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, these are all the stuff that you're dealing with.
Scrutinizing. You're scrutinized more when you're trying to be legal, because like you can't like have one foot in and you're like, all right, on the side I sell to the homes. Like you can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most people are doing shit like that. When I say sell to the homes, we're talking about packs. Like these motherfuckers are still, you know, a lot of them independent cultivators are still doing things that are off the record. You know what I mean? Like allegedly. And,
that's the thing. So it's like, how long can you sustain yourself throughout that business? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. How long can you sustain yourself? How deep are your pockets? You know what I mean? Because you have the legal situation, right? You have competition business-wise. You have the underground situation. Then you have the laws. Then you have the taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
even all the products that get moved at the dispensaries, they all have to be lab tested. They all have, you know what I mean? So now you gotta get in there good with the very few labs that are out there. Cause that's another thing. Very few of those labs, and they'll monopolize it. You know what I mean? Hey, you can't move a product if someone ain't clearing it. You can't drive a car if it ain't smog type of shit. You know what I mean? It's the same difference. Like, so they just find different ways to corner people out.
Yeah, because I heard Dame Dash said he was working on some type of cultivation move. This was like a couple of years ago. And he said that when you're going for, I guess his whole thing was to have his shit like fit within like the government requirements to where it can be used in like, you know, hospitals and stuff like that. But he said the stuff has to be, he said his bud has to be cleaner than food.
Yeah.
You know what
it's
I mean?
medicine now. Now it's medicine.
Well, see, and that was going to be what I was going to go with it is that, you know, I'm always POP, you know what I mean? Shout out to little baby that said, I'm blind. I can't see, mama. I'm blind. But POP, that's what she said. And that means pot over pills, man. That's not what she was saying, but that's what I say. I don't fuck with no medicine, bro. 100%. Oh, my mama, I do not touch no medicine. Not only don't I touch it, part of the reason I don't is because I'm missing an organ to where if I take too much medicine or some strong medicine could shut down the other side. You know what I mean? 100%. So I'm heavy favorite of it. You know what I mean? But not only that, you know what I mean? The pharmaceutical industry is a big industry, probably one of the biggest in the world. You know what I mean? And as this cannabis showing motherfuckers start realizing you can, whether you flower or edibles or whatever the fuck you do with this shit, and it's starting to help take over what was or replacing what your medicine was, they not gonna like that shit, right? 100%. You cutting into their money, you know what I mean? That's why they push that punk shit on you every time you go into the hospital. Then not only also with the taxes is California broke 100%. And this right here, this shit is green gold. Not only do you got the gold rush that kicked off in this motherfucker, but this green gold, man, they should have been let this shit been partaking legally. You know what I mean? But now, you know what I mean, they so fucking broke, they gotta try and get some more money. So a 19% tax, like, come on now, man.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
They crazy for that. 19%.
Yeah, and then hold on, and that's not to mention local tax. Because when you go to these dispensaries in Cali, you'll have a local tax. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be like okay, for example, this is a couple years ago. So I remember tripped out when my boy broke this down to me. So it might even be more now, is what I'm saying. But it used to be essentially you buy an eighth, that's 3.5. You're basically paying $5 a gram tax. So you're paying almost $20 a tax just for this eighth. So you see a special be like, they got fucking $20 eighths of the fucking cookie over there. Oh, word. Boom, everybody shows up. But then you still paying $20 of tax on top of that. Then there's the local tax, right? Which is, I forget the breakdown of that. But, you know, it usually be like $6-7. It's like, it's crazy. And people were already accustomed to that. So now if you're going to jump it up to whatever, 19%, that shit's crazy.
Yeah, see what the stores is though, right? Like, right, the stores is for the squares, the motherfuckers that can't go slide to the hood or don't know nobody that, you know what I mean, got the line, you know what I mean? And
they just not tapped in.
You know what I mean?
Or maybe that's their convenience.
But that's
what I was gonna say. They feel real comfortable for them to go into that motherfucker. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not really going to the store, bro.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, the people that really spend the money are the people that will go to the dispensary. That's the people that's going to spend the most money. You know what I'm saying? The everyday. I'm telling you, the everyday people.
I mean, in Northern Cali, with all the tech motherfuckers where I was from, that's all you see in them lines at the dispensary.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
a lot of times,
those are the people that's going to spend the money. That's really the market right there.
Yeah.
I mean, just
they blowing.
If you blow, you gonna spend the money no matter what. 100%. Whether you spending it at the store or if you got the line on it where you could just make the call. gonna
I'm economical. If I see back in the days, I used to see a good deal at the store, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go cop. Or maybe I got enough points built up. I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? But nothing beat ever since the explosion of recreational usage and you know what I mean, and it actually being a part of the regular zeitgeist for Californians, man, the streets just got way cheaper. You know what I mean? And they're only going to get cheaper, or actually the streets might even just get a little, it might even help the streets now if you're going to raise the taxes in the stores, because now they can charge a little more and it'll still be beating the dispensary prices. You know what I mean? People, I will say though, as a customer, myself, if I was to put myself in those shoes, the convenience and the variety is what draws people to dispensaries. You know what I mean? And it's the same way you'll have deals at a grocery store, you'll have deals at dispensaries. You know, you go on the app, it'll be like 20% off all concentrates or something, and you'll just see motherfuckers that are there. I mean, like I'm telling you, I work in the industry, so you know what I mean? Because and then you'll see the foreign few, but you'll really see them. It'll be like an old person talking about, I need something to help me sleep at night. Like, you know, like you got some real people, my back aches, and you're like, oh shit, these people really need medicinal marijuana. Like, you know what I mean? Then they're really getting some medicine.
And then you got spots, you got places, they doing delivery, they doing all of that. So like at the end of the day, it's like, you know, how can the only way that the street dealer, the only thing is he don't gotta worry about taxes. You know what I mean? But on the flip side, on the legal side, like, you know, they're convenient. You know, they have a central location. You could just pull right up. They do delivery. They have all the different strains you're looking for. You know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of the, you know, the general public that does indulge, they're gonna go to the dispensaries. Some people gonna have some people might do both. You know what I'm saying? But I think you got to remember now these days, a lot of these cats ain't really hustlers like that, like they was back then.
It's true.
You know what I mean? A lot of this new generation, they not street hustlers like they was back then. You know what I'm saying? So you call a dude for some shit, you see, they act like he can't tell time. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I'll be there in 7 minutes.
I'm right around the corner. He ain't even leave the crib.
Yeah, I'm about to pull up.
Man, hey, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
You better step up your customer service.
Used to be like when you're important, the wait.
Trust me, hey, that's a true statement.
That was my thing. When you're important, they'll wait.
100%. Carl said, I can see it now. My rich homeless life debuting this fall on TLC. Or you can rent a space, get a liquor license, get some flyers made, pay a DJ, throw a party, and charge admission, make a couple of G's real fast. Oh yeah, he gonna turn into a party promoter. We got the Peacock fella in the building, top of the morning, Peacock.
Shout out to Peacock.
Top of the morning.
He thought, that homeless dude. I guess you can't even call him homeless no more, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that bruh. He throws a party with all his homo friends, bro. That shit, you know what I mean? He's gonna have all the ones and change. He's like, yeah, hold on, it's $8 to get in here. Like, hold on.
He says you can call him what you want, but just don't call me broke. Oh my mama, that boy.
Call me broke.
Oh, bitch! Oh my mama. Shout out to Darnell Rollins. What y'all got going out on this cannabis shit, bro? So we can get into this last joint.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have deep pockets to survive this whole legalization process. You know what I mean? You have to have deep pockets because you're gonna spend a lot of money. Because like I said, like I was saying before, the things you're dealing with the taxes, you're dealing with competition from other legal people in that space, then you're dealing with the competition from the underworld. You know what I mean? So if you don't have deep pockets, you know, this game could dry you out. You know what I'm saying? So going legal is not as easy as it's portrayed. You know what I mean? You know.
100%. Shout out to everybody that's, you know, the minorities that's in the game. 100%. You know what I mean? Because I know it's hard 100%. I mean, and my cousins done cracked that door. Shout out to Ellis Greens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Big up to Ellis Greens.
Oh, my mama. You got anything,
yeah,
bro?
Yeah, I'll just say, I mean, the industry will always keep industry. You know what I mean? No matter what the industry is, you know what I'm saying? And once they saw that marijuana was making billions, who was the first ones? It was like Washington State and then Colorado.
I think so.
To do the recreational,
right?
They're like, okay, what places are pretty much peaceful for the most part? Let's go ahead and legalize it over there fully, and then watch the billions roll in. Then of course Cali been medical than a motherfucker for a long time. I remember having a medical card and thinking I was that dude going into
Me too.
dispensaries, right? And you know what's funny is that we called them cannabis clubs back then. Like, hey, we're going to the club.
100%.
And then like and back then you would see a whole line of actual patients. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
You'd see motherfuckers that's in there getting the good dope.
They're gonna be lined up tomorrow. Any cannabis club in California is gonna be a fucking line tomorrow, dog.
Yeah, real talk.
100%.
It'd be super line. Then they actually was scanning your card and putting you in some kind of database. It was some shit back in the day. But
and you have to really go see the doctor too. Oh, my mama. Only thing I would just show that motherfucker. I lift up my shirt and show that motherfucker my zipper. You good? Give me my 50. Oh, my mama.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the name of the doctor that gave me my first prescription. He was actually notorious for some shit. His name was Dr. Thomas J. O'Connell. But he was like notorious in the cannabis industry, but like, you know what I mean, for this shit, you know what I mean, writing prescriptions, because his whole belief was, hey man, you know what I mean, this is real medicine right here. You know
pot
what I
over
mean?
Pot over pills, man.
But he was definitely selling prescriptions. You know what I mean? Like you go over there, pay, and then you sit with him, and he just ask you hella questions, and he'd be like, boom, you got mood disorder. You know what I mean? Bong, you got PTSD. Bong, and maybe motherfuckers really did have ailments too, but he would just make it easy, because even when you did have actual ailments, you still got to jump through hella hoops back in the day to get a medical card. So he just like bang, just writing prescriptions for hella. He wrote probably 100,000 prescriptions, bro. Maybe I'm throwing 10 on the 2, but because I met several people that I didn't know when I met them and asked them who they got their prescription from, it was the same bread. You know what I mean? Yeah, the cannabis industry it's crazy. It's going corporate, and then you know, the underworld will never die. There it is.
He got said maybe one day Texas will get on board. For now, I still get pretty good street prices. I'm signed up.
I'll be right back.
Yep. I'm signed up in New Mexico. I'm ready to hit that dispensary again next Christmas. Oh my mama, 100%, man. That it's the fucking medicine, dog. 100%. Let's get into this last topic.
Okay, so we talked about tariffs. Now let's talk about.
Give me a second. Let me put myself on mute.
Okay, so we talked about tariffs. Now let's talk about why we even lost our manufacturing jobs to overseas countries, right? One, because of cheaper labor costs, right? I hear a lot of people saying, oh, they have slave labor. Well, I visit China twice a year, and all of the factory workers that I visited and met with, none of them are homeless. I've met people here in America that work a job, can't afford rent, have to sleep in their car and take showers at Planet Fitness. So what country is really paying their workers slave labor if you can have a job in America but not afford to live in America? So let's get back to the labor costs, right? 1 out of the 10 factory jobs that we shipped overseas to China, only 1 in 10 went to lower wages, right? That's 10%. But 87% of the jobs that we've lost in manufacturing is because of automation and technology, right? So that's how we lost our jobs, the automation and technology, because companies don't want to pay workers. They don't want to deal with the unions, right? And that's what happened in rural America, like Ohio, all these places, they've been losing their jobs and their manufacturing because these companies are merging with other companies. The CEOs are paying themselves hefty multi-million-dollar a year salaries, never paying the workers who bust their ass. And what they're doing is they're either merging and then selling the company to another company where they'll move that company to a state where there is no unions. They don't have to deal with unions. You know why? Because unions are going to make sure that you're getting paid a living wage, right? But they want lower labor costs. This is why. It's greed. And what are they doing with that money? They're buying mansions, yachts, or whatever. But what they're not doing is reinvesting in American education, to learn these new jobs, to learn the automation, to learn the AI. We're not learning that. That's why you get all these engineers coming from these Eastern Asian countries, and they're coming taking up all the jobs at Google, Facebook, and whatever, because they're learning that. China took the money that they've been making off America by doing American manufacturing jobs that Americans didn't either want to do no more, or corporations was greedy and wanted to get it done at a lower cost. But what they're not going to tell you is the truth. And the truth is they know those jobs are not coming back. They don't expect for them jobs to come back. And even with these tariffs, it's not going to come back. What they're actually doing is forcing China to now work with other countries they didn't work with before, like South Korea. So all these countries are now getting together and not wanting to do work with the USA because we seem erratic. There's 20 countries that we worked with that we had free trade agreements. That means we didn't have any tariffs on them. They didn't have any tariffs on us. But with this whole trade war, we put 10% tariffs on everybody. So even partnerships that we had that were cool, that nobody was going to take advantage of, we fucked those partnerships over and said, you know what? Everybody gets the 10% because I just feel like being a bully today, right? The bully that hates China, even though all that MAGA gear and all them Trump flags are made in China. If you love American manufacturers so much, why didn't you find an American manufacturer to make your merch? Right? But you want all of us small business owners to redo our whole operation so we could do something that you're not even doing yourself.
There it is, there. Let's talk about it. Give me some of your thoughts, big bro.
I mean, the whole point of the Trump tariffs was to, number one, bring a lot of the manufacturing jobs back to America, which is what Homeboy was explaining in there. And then his take on it. And instead of overtaxing the American people, you tax everybody else that wants to come here and take advantage. Because this is the thing, right? I feel like it has to be a balance. Because if you just let the entire business and trade go overseas, then how is this economy going to produce more? You know what I'm saying? So it's a shot at trying to bring certain jobs back to America. You know what I'm saying? And then it's taking a chance at trying to lessen the taxes that the American people are paying. You know what I'm saying? So he's a business owner, so he's going to feel how he's going to feel because he feels like it's affecting his business. You know what I'm saying? But from the everyday American standpoint, I don't think they're going to feel just like him right off rip when you look at the overall point of what Trump is doing. Because if a Democrat would, a lot of people, Trump to some people, he's not a likable guy, right? So people are going to have their opinion, but at the end of the day, if Trump was you know, his demeanor was different, was the total opposite, you know what I mean? I don't know if people would have had these same sentiments, because when Biden was doing a lot of stuff, people they was kind of like overlooking it. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, you know, with the tariffs or whatever, it's a way, like I said, it's a way to bring the jobs back. Now, on the flip side, you know, a lot of jobs left America because of that, because of greed. You know, how do you stop corporate greed? You really can't stop that. You really cannot stop corporate greed. You know what I'm saying? So you have to try to like balance it out in a way, because it's like, if we giving away all our jobs, then what is there for the people? Because you're not people are not learning the new technology that's out here, as far as like the AI and all this other stuff. Like, so, you know, even like electric cars and stuff like that, people are gonna have to learn this new technology and for it to create a new job space. You know what I'm saying? So
no, Facts, like what you just said right there with the AI. You know, motherfuckers can say what they want to say about DeepSeek in the Chinese and in their technology, but the cost of what it took to make DeepSeek compared to what the Americans is trying to do with their AI, it was completely different, bro. 100%. It was like night and day, apples to oranges, 100%. And I've been fucking with the DeepSeek a little bit, you know what I mean? So we definitely had to get better at teaching that technology and shit and being able to cut the cost down on that shit 100%. And you know, the basic curriculum, you know what I mean? That type of shit is probably not even taught in regular school. You got to, you know, first want to have the want to have, you know, to want to do that type of shit, and then you got to go and go to an extra type of school to, you know what I mean, to learn that shit 100%. But another thing is though, like what Brett was saying, and you said it too about the corporate greed, right, and the union. So even though I don't where I work at, I'm part of a union, right? And so it also says about he was talking about the cost of living and shit like that, especially in unionized jobs. You know what I mean? You only really gonna be at the cost of living. You know what I mean? Because your employer don't, you know, that fuck up they shit. Not only your wages, but your motherfucking your benefits and all that, your retirement and all that. They got to factor that cost in too, 100%. Now you got the inflation. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers. He said companies is merging, paying the motherfucking CEOs when they merge. They do that shit in my job. We don't merge, but yet you hire X amount of managers, you know what I mean? You cut other positions to be able to hire more managers and put more work on the people, but you ain't giving them the wages. And that's what Brett was just saying in that shit. So I know what Brett's talking about 100%, but I just don't work for a business that, you know, relies on motherfuckers buying shit and shit like that. You know what I mean? So I understand what he's talking about as an owner, because it's fucking up him doing business 100%, because he's straight to China. He's not through no middleman, you know what I mean? And that's what part of the motherfucking tariffs is, whether you a small business or a big business, you going around to go to them and get that shit straight shipped over here without doing no American business, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So basically you're getting money from the American people, but you're not reinvesting in America at all. You're paying the least amount of taxes. You're making the money off the people. The jobs are not going to the people. You know what I mean? For some of these companies, the jobs are not going to the American people. They're going overseas because they don't want to pay the labor costs over here. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's the whole thing or whatever. So, you know, so now the people that's going to really feel the crunch is the people that's, you know, dealing over there, you know what I mean? So now they're going to have to add a tax to their joint. I mean, you know, I don't know really what to say about it, because at the end of the day, I see why it's being done. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, if they act like they don't want to, you know, they want to tax us, that gives us room to now open our own stuff and start having more American manufacturers when it comes to that situation. But I don't know. You know, we just going to have to see how that's going to have to play out. You know what I mean? You know, he's going to have to see how it, because you know he's trying something, you know, to see if it works. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like, we paying crazy taxes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know,
I think also the shock is that none of this is really it's not gradual either. He's like kind of ripping the Band-Aid off in that aspect. You know what I mean? Like, all right, boom, we're juicing everything up. Then in response, even China, I think they raised our little tariff to that they have on us 85%. Like that's, they're like, now it's like a piston contest. You know what I mean?
But they're not the only manufacturers though. There's a bunch of other manufacturers as well. You know what I mean? So China want to have, you know, China is not the only manufacturer. So I don't see why they manufacture a lot, but at the same time, they're not the only ones. People can go through other channels and get their stuff manufactured outside of China. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I don't know, man. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's gonna cost. It might cost us a little bit more, but I'm gonna tell you like this: if an item is cheap, I'm not paying more money for a cheap ass item. I'm only paying for stuff that's actually that has that value with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you're not gonna get me to pay double the price for Temu. Like I don't care for
Made in America.
Yeah, I don't care for paying the crazy prices for Temu. You know what I'm saying? Like but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I got some worse. I just seen this the other day. Let's watch
See,
this.
let me tell you something. Amazon, not for nothing. Amazon got a great way of doing business, because at the end of the day, they have a lot of their warehouses and all that over here. You know what I'm saying? So they give the American people jobs, but they're the liaison to the products that China sells. So they're more like a quality control type of company. You know what I'm saying?
And distributor.
Yeah, but they move like the way they move so formless. Like and everybody wins, messing with them. The American people win because they have jobs over here. The Chinese people win because they're getting their products sold. You know what I'm saying? So companies need to start taking after Amazon and looking at that business model. You know what I'm saying? Because they're really winning out here, man. Now they're partnered up with Whole Foods. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They bought them motherfuckers.
They're about to open up one right here by my house, JD. I was just telling someone about that shit yesterday.
And now they don't see one thing I definitely agree with them is that they don't open up no stores, because that cost of having a brick and mortar is pointless. We'll just have lockers and we'll keep it online. You know what I'm saying? Because the brick and mortar, that's a whole nother expense. And then you got to make sure that the sales from the brick and mortar is in the hassle, and because it's not just sales, not just the product that you're trying to make sales on the product, but you got to pay you got to have employees, you got to have
the property, you got to pay the rent for the
tag, all that stuff. So it's like, the hell with that.
Yep,
we'll just
insurance,
have lockers,
to have employees, all that shit.
Yeah, we'll just have lockers where they could pick up their stuff. You know what I mean? And or if they want to get it physical, as opposed to have it shipped to their house. You know what I mean? So that's perfect. You're not really, you're not investing where it's not necessary. They put more of their time of building their brand online than brick and mortar. And to me, they're beating out Walmart because they have way more stuff than Walmart.
Yeah, and in the joint over here, right? That they're opening up, it's gonna be a grocery store, but it's also like a Amazon Prime hub. So you can ship things out, have things shipped in there. You can pick it up from there, or if you're in this general area, like the Valley, all your shit's gonna be, but not a lot of times it's probably gonna be coming out of here now. You know what I mean? Like, so it's gonna be this hub, but it's also a grocery store, because, like you said, why have the brick and mortar when you already if you have the facility, then just have a portion of it as a grocery store.
Bro, that's a one-stop motherfucking shop, man.
Yeah, and the grocery store too. I think there's like minimal clerks. You go in there, you throw it in the fucking cart, and then
it all on the phone. I seen that shit.
Exactly. And it just tallies up all your shit.
They got face recognition right when you walk in. On my mama, I seen that at the Amazon grocery store. On my mama, watch this shit. Go ahead, big bro.
Nah, because I was saying, like, I was just saying, like, the future of business, like, my boy was telling me, people are coming back outside and stuff like that. I said, yeah, but I mean, they're gonna always have like malls and stuff like that. But I just think brick and mortar is not the business model for certain products.
Oh, we got to do a dead mall segment one day.
Yeah, it's a lot of malls is dead. You know what I'm saying?
That's the actual term, a dead mall.
Because when you think about it, a lot of the stuff that people want, they're getting online.
Exactly.
If you want a certain type of jeans and stuff like that, or whatever, they're getting it online. Even the kids are getting it online.
Yeah, we
They're
just had
not.
a Macy's, so it's a
And
mother.
you know the malls was killing it for these. The lack of a malls was killing these kids. They ain't got no game, bro. Because that's where you first learn how to holler.
That's true.
You feel me?
Oh man,
At the mall.
So where the Golden One Arena is, that used to be a mall, right?
Oh, word. Okay.
It used to be the downtown mall at one point, right? And so they tore that motherfucker down to build the arena, right? But it was always a Macy's because the Macy's was one of the anchoring stores at that mall, right? So I've been going to this mall since I was a kid. 100% Christmas money straight on the bus to get to that bitch.
Let's go.
You know what I mean?
Got to get fitted.
But they just closed down the motherfucking Macy's. The Macy's did it for hella years, bro. Oh my!
They got a standalone Macy's over here. I tripped out when I first came out here. I was like, whoa.
That shit crazy, bro. Don't nobody go to them motherfuckers. And then I was just watching on YouTube the mall on Market Street. You know what I mean? We used to go to that motherfucker and go get fitted for Black Family Night, man. They didn't close that motherfucker down. Like these malls, bro. Ain't nobody going to them motherfuckers.
The malls don't, for whatever reason, the malls do not keep up with the latest fashion brands like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
you gotta go to
the real problem.
Most of the kids are wearing. Kids ain't dressing regular these days too. Well, people in general.
Yeah, you want all the fly, up to date stuff that's keeping up with the fashion.
You can't go to the mall 9 times out of 10 and get some Saint Laurent. It's got to be one of them upscale malls. You know what I mean?
No,
you got to at least go to a Nordstrom's or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they don't have nothing. Like you got to understand, like the kids, like okay, they look at when I look at the brands, okay, the youngins. They look at the celebrities and how they dress, and sometimes they try to get that look, right? Without having to spend the high-end money that they're spending. So there's companies that make that look, but without the cost, right? But the malls don't sell these things. So they go, and these companies are online companies. They don't have brick and mortar stores. So they're selling this straight online. They have a warehouse, they send their product there, and then they ship it out.
You have a farther reach too in that aspect.
Yeah, so when you look at it, for malls to stay in business, they gotta start keeping up with the trends of today, and they gotta have stock. You gotta have this stuff in stock. People have to come there and know that these things are there, because if they don't, or it's just hit or miss, they're gonna stick to going online. Because why am I spending gas and time and all of this stuff to go run around parking and all this to go run around the mall to go look for stuff when I could just have it shipped to my house and have my outfit ready before, you know what I mean, without even bypassing all of that. Instead of going to the mall, I could go to get my hair cut. I could go do some other stuff, you know what I mean, and be ready to go out later on that night because my outfit is came to my doorstep.
Because I used to not enjoy going to the mall like Christmas season. That shit sucked. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna.
That's what made me love Amazon and shit like that. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. Like, I don't really care for going to the mall, bro. Like, I want to have my stuff, shipped to the crib. Like, I don't want to be running around trying to look for this and look for that. Nah, I'd rather look for it online, order it, have it shipped to my doorstep, and I don't have to waste all that time, money, and gas moving around. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
that's the thing.
Because I like the outlets too, though. Like, we got a mall out here that's booming, you know what I mean? But you got to go hella far. It's about 30 minutes away, you know what I mean? That's the Roseville Galleria, you know what I mean? Every motherfucking city got the Galleria, you know what I mean? And them motherfuckers be booming. But that motherfucker hella far out, and it got a whole bunch of shit around there. You got the fucking casino.
But you got to think about it. How many times out of the year are you going there?
Oh, I don't go there that often at all.
You see what I'm saying? Because that's the same thing with me. Like, I like the outlet too. You know what I mean? They got a lot of stuff out there, but I'm not driving 3 hours, 3 hours out there all the time. You know what I'm saying? So for the in-betweens, I get my stuff online. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Like, the malls, and then like what made me stop going to the malls is they stopped having stuff. They stopped having, it kind of started with the sneakers, then the clothes, and it's just like, come on, man, like,
Yeah, that's basically what I do for the mall is maybe my shoes, if I can't get them from my cousin, which my cousin, he always shout out to my cousin Kato, 100%. He got his own clothing line too. He tapped in. He get me whatever I want, unless I got, if not, I go into the motherfucking mall to go get some shoes. But it'd be Macy's. I mean, if I gotta go get me a motherfucking polo shirt, if I ain't made it out to the motherfucking outlet to go see what the fuck they got, I go to the motherfucking to Macy's or Nordstrom's to go grab me something. You know what I mean? Other than that, because I know what I want. You know what I mean? Unless they got something.
But you gotta think, right? Macy's and them, they not selling gallery department. They not selling essentials.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They not selling the brands that people want right, in this era.
Right. So we used to have this store called Get a Clue. So at that mall that I was talking about downtown, when they took that bitch down, they had got their own little spot like outside of the mall, like somewhere. I forgot exactly where it was at. But then and that boutique store been around for a long time too. So like at Arden Mall, which is like the dead zone now, that motherfucker kind of like ghost town, you know what I mean? They be having still got the boutiques in there that had a fly shit, you know what I mean? But it has to be the boutique because the regular do y'all got Chics?
Chics?
Chics is a shoe store. So Chics is a shoe store, like a hip type like shit, you know what I mean? Like a Foot Locker.
No.
But they be having little shit in there, you know what I mean? But like I said,
the mom and pop, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the sneaker game out here, we have the mom and pops is really the ones that you want to mess with, besides like Snipes. You know what I'm saying? Is the mom and pops when it comes to the sneakers that people want. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not getting it on release day or 2 weeks before, whatever, you know what I'm saying, like how they've been doing it, you ain't really getting nothing that's current right now. You're getting leftovers, or you're paying more for it. You know what I'm saying? So, if you don't got the latest, people want the latest fashions. People don't want stuff, hit or miss. They know what they want, and if you don't have it, they're going somewhere else. They're going to who has it. You know what I'm saying? So if malls can't meet the demand of what the youth, the trends of today, like, I don't see them being around for too much longer. Like, in its abundance. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my mama.
Yes, people need somewhere to go and stuff like that, but there's a lot of places to go. Like, so
let's play this last little video talking about what bro was talking about in the video about states in Ohio and Michigan and shit like that about these factories. This just, when I was watching the shit you sent me last night, this came across my shit, and it kind of tie into what bro was talking about.
Okay.
In less than 60 days, the trucks will roll out one final time and the steam will stop billowing.
Most people in the mill now are just basically in shock. It hasn't really sunk in, and I'm sure we're in shock too.
Excel Paper Mill is a staple in Chillicothe.
This place has provided for a lot of families for a long time.
And it's been a family. I mean, we spend 10 to 12 hours a day together for the last 30 years. I mean, we spend more time with these guys than I do my family in a waking manner.
The mill's history spans 200 plus years, with generations of families calling it work.
It's hard to take in,
jobs.
This has been part of my life for the majority of it. It's I've been here since I was 19 years old.
Yeah, Dad retired with 39 years, so I would have had 39 years if I'd have made it the full term. And Jeff's dad, they actually worked together.
Tim Jenkins and Jeff Allen were given the news about the closure Tuesday morning. The CEO posted a message on Pixel's website, writing, quote, "The decision to close the Chillicothe mill was not made lightly." He added the closure was a difficult but necessary decision due to unsustainable financial challenges at the Chillicothe location.
I'm getting close to retirement, but obviously I'm not done, but I feel bad for all the younger guys. We have a lot of 20, 30-year-olds here that have small children. It's going to be tough for those guys.
About 800 employees won't have a job soon. They were told June 13th is the date, a date that haunts more than those who work here.
I think it's going to be widespread. Obviously it's going to affect the market. People probably will not be buying as many houses because they have to go somewhere else for work. Obviously it will affect the bars, restaurants, shopping, car buying.
There's still a lot of unknown and uncertainty, and people are just scared.
There it is there. And bro was just talking about that same shit in the motherfucking video we started off with this topic with. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It is.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't fully lean on, oh, well, we need to just keep it the way it is. Now we have to try different things to try to bring some of this business back over here. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's happening. People are losing their business to overseas, like their jobs to overseas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there has to be some type of balance. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't really fully stand on what Homeboy talking about, because he's a business owner. He's not the one providing jobs. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of he's dealing with overseas. He's not the people, nobody here produces his product. So, he's gonna speak for his interests, you know what I mean? But for the American people that, they've been in these warehouse jobs, and now they're losing their jobs to overseas. Okay, so now if they lose the jobs to overseas, then the money's not going to be spent either. You know what I'm saying? People are not going to be so willing to go out and spend money if they don't have as much jobs as they had before. You feel me? So until people get trained to, do the new jobs, as far as technology, dealing with the AI, dealing with robots, things of that nature, we still need those jobs. You know what I mean? So, I think that you have to try something and see what can come from it. You try something, it may work, it may not work, but you have to try, because leaving it the same and having it to where, okay, every business that gets big, they just want to send their jobs out overseas, then that leaves no real jobs for the American people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if we ain't making no money, then the economy ain't gonna be making no money, because we're not gonna be going out there spending a whole bunch of money.
100%. It is not a consumer economy right now.
Exactly. And you want to get it back to being that. You know what I'm saying? So, if people feel like, okay, it's too expensive to deal with overseas, then maybe, people here will start servicing them, you know what I'm saying? And say, okay, well, let me get this warehouse and go ahead and start producing over here. You feel me? So that's how I feel about that.
Well, we need something to shake up 100%, because the economy is not G right now. The inflation is not G. The price of everyday things is not G. You know what I mean? And it's been like that since COVID. 100% ain't been no motherfucking relief. Come on now.
Yeah.
Mama. We gotta shake something up.
Gotta
Top of the morning, Johnny.
Johnny.
Let's get it, man. What y'all got going out on this, man?
I mean, like I was saying before, man, the whole point of what Trump is attempting right now is trying to put more value into the American economy. You know what I'm saying? So if he can get those tariffs, that's less taxes American people got to pay. And also, if we put our mind together, we can go ahead and start producing over here. You see what I'm saying? But you have and it would make for a better economy if you have a lot of more manufacturers over here, and we're paying less taxes on certain things. Then it would make for a better economy. You feel what I'm saying? But if every company that goes public on the stock market is sending all their work overseas, then what does that do for the American economy? It doesn't help us in no way, because they're paying the least amount of taxes, and then they're not providing any jobs to American people, but you want American people's money. How does that make sense?
Richer.
You see what I'm saying?
And see, in our state, we got the tech boom, but Newsom motherfucking ass then made all them dudes leave because of the motherfucking taxes. You know what I mean? 100% the state tax is hard for them to do business. The insurance companies don't even want to do business in this motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? It's fucked up. You know what I mean? And then not only than that, you know what I mean, the student loans. You know what I mean? To go get technology jobs, you gotta go to school. You know what I mean? And it costs hella money to go to school, then you in debt. So when
And
you
you're
go
in debt,
finally
yeah.
get your job in these professions,
And those school
Then
debts,
your
those
job is overseas. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, well, see, not only
You know?
overseas, but what COVID brought to us is that it allowed these motherfuckers to work remotely, especially in these tech jobs. You know what I mean? That's another thing. These motherfuckers it don't matter where they live at because they right here like us in front of this screen. So it really don't matter where the tech people live. I mean, where they work at.
Exactly.
100%.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so at the end of the day, something has to slow that down. Because my thing is like, on a business owner standpoint, it's like, okay, I see where you guys benefit, right? But if too many of you guys start doing the same thing, it's gonna weaken the economy. You know what I'm saying? Because now we having these big businesses, but we're not reaping none of the. If you looking at America, I'm looking at America as a country. I'm playing like imagine if I'm the country. I'm looking at it like, yo, we're not reaping none of the benefits of these big companies because you guys are sending all the jobs overseas and then you're paying the least amount of taxes. So how is America's economy benefiting off of that? We're just paying into y'all. You see what I'm saying?
No, I trust you. Know what? Look. California has the 5th largest economy in the world, bro. But we the highest tax, the highest regulated state there is, and we don't read none of that shit, nigga. Excuse my language. Agriculture, tech, tree, you know what I mean? The flower, you know what I mean? 100. It's so much shit that we produce here, right? But we the hardest state to get into the houses. The gas is so motherfucking high, bro. You gotta. It's motherfuckers that make 100K. It's two-parent homes or two people homes that make 100K each other, and it's hard for them, bro. We produce a lot of shit here, so I know what you're talking about. 100%.
Yeah, we got big agriculture.
So it has to be a balance. Like I said, you know, it has to be a balance. Too much of businesses sending their jobs overseas and just collecting the money from America, too much of that is going to weaken this economy. You know what I'm saying? It's going to weaken the economy. I don't care what these other guys are talking about. It's going to weaken the economy. You know what I mean? Because people are not trained to do the jobs of the future as of yet, right now. So the jobs that they're doing is the jobs of yesterday, you know, and you know what I'm saying? So now you send all those jobs away. They're not trained to do the jobs of the future just yet. So where does that leave the economy? In the dumps. You know what I mean? So you have to try to create some kind of balance. Like, listen, you can't just send all your you can't just collect profit from over here as a large company. You see what I'm saying? Either you're gonna get taxed or you're gonna bring some of them jobs back over here. Because they lay off the taxes of the businesses because they provide jobs. That's why the you know, the big corporations, they get those tax breaks because they provide jobs. But if you're not providing the jobs, then why you shouldn't get the tax breaks? Pay the taxes. You know what I mean? So that could go into that, because our economy is losing both ways. We losing the jobs trickling down, people working the jobs, then they're spending money back into the economy. We're losing that, and then you're getting taxed. You know, your taxes are not that much either. So it's like, what the fuck? Like, where are we benefiting? Then you just want to collect the money? Like, get out of here! Like, you know what I mean? So nah, things like this have to happen to create some kind of balance. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not totally against it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just feel like it just needs to be balanced, not too much of anything, but you have to try something. Because if you leave it like this economy is never going to get back strong again. You know what I'm saying? You know, because people have to work. This point blank period. People have to work. And everybody is like, when you look at it, you know, look at the percentage of people that own businesses compared to the percentage of people that have degrees, compared to the percentages of people that work regular everyday jobs. There's way more people that work regular everyday warehouse jobs, fast food. There's way more of those people, you know what I mean?
That's why they say that the middle class makes America go.
Exactly. But when you kill the middle class, now what do you have?
There ain't no middle class no more.
I mean, it still is. It still is.
Man, look, bruh, $100K and you living by pennies. You gross $100K and you penny pinching 100%. Slapsticking the.
How you penny pinching at $100K?
I mean, shit. When you got,
What
just
are your
everyday
expenses?
life, 100%.
No, I'm saying like what are your expenses?
I think it's speaking to
Because
more
if you're
so
trying
like
to
if you're
take care of a
renting
family of
Cali.
5 on $100K, yeah, you're gonna be penny pinching. You know what I mean?
Family
You're
of
gonna be
it is what it is, man. It's hard, in
because
certain
look, a lot
states,
of
it's
people.
hard.
Let me tell you something. Like a lot of people like do not know the actual cost of things. That's the problem. People just live, work, pay bills, but a lot of people don't know the actual cost of things because if they did, people would be a lot more mindful of how they spend that money. You know what I'm saying? Why you think the government give you, if you're not making over a certain amount of money, they give you, WIC and all that when your child is born, because a child costs a certain amount of money a year when they're first born. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't make the income to absorb that expense, you're going to be at a deficit. That's why they offer those things. So I think a lot of people don't know how much things actually cost, and they just go out and just want to live their life. You know what I'm saying?
But
100K.
Money is $8 for 12 of them motherfuckers, bro. That when motherfuckers know the cost at the grocery store, big bro. 100.
That wick came in the clutch.
Motherfuckers know the cost at the gas pump, bro. This is everyday shit that is exceeding the amount that it shouldn't be. 100%, bro.
Yeah, I mean, ain't nothing
That's
gonna
all
stay
I'm
cheap
saying.
forever. Ain't nothing gonna stay cheap forever.
I'm not talking about it being.
I'm
not talking about it being cheap. I'm talking about it being to where it's supposed to be and not hella inflated. 100%.
Well, I mean, but you're talking about California. I mean,
man, you can go on the internet in any state right now, and a motherfucker talking about groceries and just all types of just daily expenses. 100%.
Yeah, but I also feel like with that, American people have to watch how they spending their money. We consume. We the biggest consumers in the world, so we got to pay attention to how we spending our money sometimes, because things are not going to remain the same price forever. They're going to be surges. They're going to be ups. They're going to be the highs and lows. Gas is going to be high, then it's going to be low. That's the economy. It's never going to be this straight line all the way through. You know what I mean? Or depending on, politics, or depending on what's going on, whatever, the price is going to surge up and down. You just got to be ready for whatever. If you budget properly, then you could be prepared for stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? That's just the facts. You feel me?
100%, bro. Yeah, man. I just, it ain't getting no easier. You definitely gotta watch. You definitely gotta watch your budget 100%. But it is definitely shit that's manipulated 100% to where it do make shit jerk 100%. Pause. You know what I mean? Like here in the state of California, this motherfucker want to push the all electrical movement by 2040. And one of the reasons why he want to do that, okay, you could say about the fucking greenhouse effect and all that too, but it's not a coincidence that they found one of the biggest lithium mine deposits here in the state of California. So you got shake a hand, make a friend. You rub my back, I'll rub your back, or scratch your back. You know what I mean? 100%. And that type of shit, all battery movement also puts out other motherfuckers, businesses and stuff like that too. Though, like I said, this
then
shit,
you gotta
once you
look
get to making these decisions and you have ulterior motives behind them, which cancel out some ways of motherfuckers, the way that they do business and shit like that, man, it's fucked up, dog. 100%.
But the thing is that who's putting him in office every time he's up for re-election? That's the problem. So if he's keep getting put in office, then obviously the majority of people in California don't feel how you feel, because they keep putting him in office.
Yeah, well, see, he been in office for the last, I think this is his last term. But he's been in office for the last, and they've been trying to impeach his ass 100%.
But somebody,
it's a lot of motherfuckers that feel the same way I feel in the state of California.
But it's a large group of people. There's a large group of people that's still voting for him.
You get 4 years. You get 4 years. So the motherfucker did get his term on everything. The motherfucker did get his term. Them is facts.
How long you been? He been in that office more than 4 years, bro.
You only get 8 years as a governor.
Yeah, he pushing up on 8.
Yeah,
because for as long as I know,
got his term.
So he got 2 terms.
Mm-hmm.
So
Showing the hell did.
So there's a large portion of people in California that feel like he should be the governor.
Yeah, for sure. I understand that. And it's a lot of motherfuckers that voted for him, voted for Trump as well. And that's why Trump is president, because they hope that he could change some of the shit that's going on in California.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is if a lot of people feel like you, then a lot of people that feel like you need to take that to the polls, because that's where it counts.
I didn't vote for him this last go around, big dog. 100%.
Yeah,
you know
but I'm saying, like,
it's a blue state. It's a blue state, bro.
I was just about to say that. It's almost like, when's the last time we had the governor? That was the last time it was a Republican state.
Probably.
Because for me, I want to hear it. I want to hear how a person that vote for him feels, because I'm pretty sure that is the reason why they voted for him. Because you know what I'm saying. I want to see what their point of view is, and why did they vote for him for 2 terms? You know what I mean? Because because that person that's going to say what they're going to say, that they're speaking for the majority, because that's what got him in office, is that majority.
Because look, I'm gonna tell you like this.
He has to win the vote to get in office.
We got a sanctuary state. So if you allow motherfuckers to come here illegally and give them dough and allow them not to vote with no ID, no nothing. See, we got voting scandals and all types of shit here, bro. Nah, that ain't like that, big bro, on everything. This
but I still
over here.
I still would want to hear from somebody who voted for him.
I feel it 100%.
Yeah,
I feel what you're saying.
I want to hear what they're saying, because they're speaking for the people that's going out voting for him and keeping him in office.
I feel it.
I want to hear their point of view. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it. I ain't mad at that.
You know, because like I said,
it's crazy though, because I'm thinking about his time in office, and I'm like, yeah, he did in his time. A lot of the tech companies left. He had all
gone.
All the fires. You know how many fires happened in the last 8 years, 10 years?
Yeah, because look, if there's a mayor that I don't like, but he's in office and he got 2 terms. One thing about New York, there's people that will tell you, yeah, I voted for him because of A, B, C, and D. Yeah, I voted for him. You know what I'm saying? So I be wanting to hear that point of view. Like, why did you vote for him? What do you see in this person? Like, you know what I'm saying? How you feel like it's beneficial to you, you know what I'm saying, to vote for him. You feel what I'm saying? You know, because these are the people that's going out to the polls and they're keeping these people in power. You know what I'm saying? So,
and they also reel you in too, though. A lot of these motherfuckers, they campaign, and what they campaigning on, once they get up in that motherfucker, they'll fuck around and not even think about what they campaigned on sometimes too, though. 100%.
Yeah, you know, and in that point, the voters will have to hold their feet to the fire. You know what I'm saying? You know, when it's time for re-election or when it's time for midterms or whatever, you know what I mean? You know, they're going to have to hold their feet to the fire. You know
Johnny said if you buy Trump's meme coin, he'll give your corporation a tax break.
He really did. I thought that was a joke. He really got a meme coin.
Fucking A, the Trump coin. Oh my mama. What you got going out, Bo?
I mean, shit. I don't. This is why, this is why I love the underworld.
Fucking liner, man.
Unaffected, you know what I mean? But then, yeah, I'd say being the hardest thing I've ever experienced so far in life is trying to sustain and stay legit, and that shit's, you know what I mean, like a regular working person.
I'm telling you, bro, facts. Oh my mama. And see, so in my working career, I didn't work through 9/11. I seen a 9/11 when I was working. So I know the effects of how America changed during 9/11. 100%. I seen it. I was working at my job when the fucking 08, 09 shit, the fucking recession. You know what I mean? I seen how that shit switched. And now how we had COVID, you know what I mean? And COVID, one thing that COVID brought about, bro, you don't gotta leave your house. That's one thing that these motherfuckers is pushing, you know, all digital everything, you know what I mean? And we do gonna have to adjust to the times, because like this story that we just seen not too long ago about them shutting down that mill, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cost effectiveness, you know what I mean? All types of shit. This how these companies is moving, whether it's by choice or whether it's by force, like the bruh on the shoe company. They merging, they clicking up, you know what I mean? Breaking down costs, hiring more executives. Like I said, they doing that shit at my job 100%, trying to lay motherfuckers off because the city can't do business at what they operating cost is. You know what I mean? Part of that is, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna say part of it. Most of it is because of the economy. 100%, bro. Facts. You know what I mean? And I'm one of the ones that got so much seniority at my job. So when they get to talking layoffs and shit like that, man, that shit, you know, it blow past my, you know, my ear. But like how brother was saying in the thing, I'm one of the ones that got something 30 years in, shit like that. I feel bad for the 20 and 30-year-olds that got just starting families and shit like that. You know what I mean? And that's what's so fucked up.
For real.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's
save your money.
Crazy. Like I said,
Really
it gotta be some balance. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you gotta try things with this economy. You can't just keep doing the status quo. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't try nothing, then you know ain't nothing gonna change. You know what I mean? Sending all that money to Ukraine and sending all that money over here and over there, that gotta stop. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things got to stop for this economy to be strong again. Certain things got to get tried for this economy.
That's why they got the Doge. That's why they got Elon in there to try and start combing the books.
Hey, you know Elon about to be up out of there, because he's a official government official. Like you get what I'm saying? Like he's not.
I don't think to me honest, I don't think he should be close to those.
But hear me out.
Either.
There's a stipulation here, because he's not an official government official. He can only work with these cabinets for 135 days. So he even said he's not going to re it up. So whatever he's doing with them ain't going to last too much longer.
Yeah.
He probably got on the other side. Was like, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I'm not gonna re-up my little
Elon.
Yeah, because he was just, I don't know what was he, an overseer or something?
Yeah.
Plus he got all these other business. He said he got so many other businesses. Obviously, because he was like, I'm not gonna re-up my little woo-wop.
Oh my mama. Let the people know where they can find you at, Bo.
Shit, man. Bogard Scott Free, anywhere you consume your music, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, etc. You know what I mean? And Gen Wealth Net on YouTube. Gen Wealth Net _ on Instagram.
Talk about it. What you got going on, Slim?
From a fan's perspective on YouTube, you know what I mean? Catch me on there. There's some new content out for you guys. You feel me?
Go.
Let's get it, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. 100%, man. This motherfucker ain't gonna be shutting down, man. We on the countdown to the NFL draft, man. 100%.
Yeah,
So shout out to all my DJs around this motherfucker. Y'all know what time it is.
Yeah, man. Everybody have a safe Easter Sunday, Easter weekend. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely catch us if y'all is gonna keep it lit tomorrow as usual. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? Stay tapped in.
Come on now. We gone. Peace.
Lucky Show.
Eureka. We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays